Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a word for you today, and it's one that will challenge you. It's a word for the ones who've been holding back, shrinking down, and second-guessing themselves for far too long. It's a word for 2025, for those of you who are ready to step into your calling, your purpose, and your power. Here's the truth. Stop being too nice. Understanding the difference between kindness and people-pleasing is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships, self-respect, and personal growth. Many people often confuse the two, thinking they are synonymous, but in reality, they are distinct concepts with different underlying motivations and outcomes. Kindness is an authentic expression of love, care, and concern for others. It is rooted in empathy and a desire to make a positive impact on someone's life, but it is balanced with self-respect and boundaries. A kind person offers help, support, or encouragement without expecting anything in return, and their actions are guided by the principle of doing what is right, not what is popular. Kindness is not dependent on the response of others or their approval. A kind individual can say no when needed, understanding that protecting their well-being is as important as helping others. People-pleasing, on the other hand, stems from an external focus, a deep-seated desire to gain approval and avoid conflict at all costs. People-pleasers tend to prioritize the happiness and comfort of others over their own, often to their detriment. The motivation behind people-pleasing is not necessarily to help or serve others in a genuine way, but rather to avoid rejection, criticism, or feeling unworthy. People-pleasers may say yes to requests even when they don't have the capacity, feeling trapped by the need to appear agreeable or likable. They fear that by saying no or setting boundaries, they might lose affection or acceptance. The key difference lies in intent and self-awareness. Kindness is a conscious decision to act out of goodwill, even when it requires sacrifice, but it doesn't come at the expense of personal integrity. People-pleasing, in contrast, is driven by insecurity and a fear of disapproval, often leading to behavior that is not aligned with one's true desires or values. A people-pleaser might say yes to an invitation because they don't want to be seen as rude, even if they are already overwhelmed and need rest. The kindness they would show by declining politely in this scenario would ultimately serve both themselves and the person making the request by ensuring they don't overextend themselves and can be more present when they do choose to help. Another important difference is the emotional toll. People-pleasing can be emotionally exhausting and lead to resentment, burnout, or anxiety because the person is constantly stretching themselves thin, trying to meet others' expectations. Over time, the lack of authenticity in people-pleasing can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction, as the person may feel like they are not living according to their own values or desires, but merely fulfilling a role in others' lives. Kindness, however, brings a sense of fulfillment and peace because it is aligned with a deeper sense of purpose and self-awareness. It allows one to be both generous and grounded, knowing that their actions are coming from a place of genuine care, not obligation. At its core, kindness is about balance. It's about offering what you can, when you can, without losing yourself in the process. People-pleasing, by contrast, tips that balance in favor of others at the cost of your own emotional and mental well-being. Kindness invites people to appreciate you for who you truly are, while people-pleasing invites them to appreciate a version of you that you are not. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to protect your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. It involves recognizing where your limits lie, communicating them clearly to others, and then maintaining those boundaries even when it feels uncomfortable or challenging. If you can recognize that boundary immediately and try to make sure it stays that way in all the times of your life that you find yourself dealing with obstacles, you'll win. In a world that often encourages overwork, constant availability, and sacrificing personal needs for the sake of others, establishing healthy boundaries is crucial for sustaining long-term happiness and personal growth. If you want to push, listen, and persist, and get what you deserve. The first step in setting healthy boundaries is self-awareness. You have to know what your needs are, what drains your energy, and where your emotional and physical limits lie. This requires taking the time to check in with yourself regularly. Ask yourself, what situations leave me feeling depleted, frustrated, or resentful? What actions or people trigger stress or discomfort in my life? When you understand your own limits, it becomes much easier to define what kind of boundaries are necessary for you to protect your well-being. Next, it's important to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively. This isn't about being harsh or rigid, but about expressing your needs in a way that is respectful to both yourself and others. Healthy boundaries require you to be honest about what you can and cannot do. If someone asks for your time and you're already stretched thin, you need to communicate that. You might say, I would love to help, but I'm already committed to something else. Or, I need to take care of myself right now. This kind of clarity helps others understand where you stand, and it teaches them to respect your limits. Often, people will not know you need a boundary until you express it. Once you've communicated your boundaries, consistency is key. This means sticking to what you've set in place even when it feels difficult or when others push back. It's natural to feel guilty when you first begin to enforce boundaries, especially if you're used to being accommodating all the time. However, consistency helps reinforce the importance of your boundaries. If you say no to a request for help, but then feel guilty and end up saying yes to avoid conflict, it sends mixed signals. But you can't control how you dealt with your boundaries if you say no to a request for help, but then feel guilty and end up saying yes to avoid conflict. It sends mixed signals. People may learn to disregard your boundaries because they see that you'll eventually cave under pressure. Remaining firm helps others understand that your limits are not negotiable, and it teaches you to prioritize yourself without feeling bad for doing so. An essential aspect of setting healthy boundaries is also learning to say no without guilt. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear letting others down or being perceived as selfish. But saying yes to everyone's requests at the expense of your own needs leads to burnout, resentment, and even anger. It's important to realize that when you say no to something that doesn't serve you or align with your priorities, you are actually saying yes to your own health and peace of mind. Saying no isn't a rejection of the person or the request. It's an affirmation of your own needs and well-being. Finally, boundaries also involve knowing when to walk away. Sometimes, even after you've communicated your limits clearly, others may continue to disrespect them. In such cases, it may be necessary to distance yourself from those people or situations. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a work environment that consistently disregards your time, or a commitment that no longer aligns with your values, walking away may be the best option for preserving your peace. Setting boundaries means knowing when to protect yourself, even if it means stepping away from something or someone you once valued. Boundaries are not walls that isolate you from others. They are lines that protect your space and your well-being. They allow you to engage with the world from a place of strength, not depletion. By setting healthy boundaries, you create an environment where you can thrive, maintain your energy, and preserve your emotional health. Embracing boldness over compliance is a mindset shift that can transform your life, relationships, and future. In a world that often values conformity and fitting in, choosing boldness is an act of self-empowerment and courage. Boldness is not about being reckless or brash, but rather about making decisions with conviction, standing firm in your beliefs, and living authentically. It's about choosing to follow your own path, even when it's easier or more comfortable to follow the crowd. Compliance, on the other hand, is often driven by the desire to avoid conflict, seek approval, or fit societal expectations. While compliance may feel safer in the short term, it can lead to long-term dissatisfaction as it forces you to suppress your true desires and identity. Compliant behavior often stems from a fear of rejection or criticism, and it can cause you to lose touch with your core values and purpose. While it may seem like an easier way to navigate life, compliance can leave you feeling unfulfilled as you continuously prioritize others' expectations over your own dreams and aspirations. To embrace boldness over compliance, the first step is clarity of purpose. Boldness comes from a deep sense of knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're meant to accomplish. When you have a clear sense of purpose, you become less susceptible to the opinions and pressures of others. You stop living reactively, just going along with whatever comes your way, and instead you begin to make decisions that align with your mission and values. Boldness is rooted in a foundation of confidence and clarity. When you know what you're about, you're less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others or the fear of making mistakes. Another critical aspect of embracing boldness is the willingness to take risks. Boldness requires stepping out of your comfort zone and challenging the status quo. Whether it's in your career, relationships, or personal growth, boldness demands that you move forward even when there's uncertainty. Risk-taking doesn't mean being impulsive. It means making calculated decisions that could lead to growth and transformation. By embracing boldness, you stop playing it safe and start to pursue opportunities that may seem daunting at first, but ultimately lead to greater rewards. The fear of failure no longer holds you back because you recognize that failure is often a necessary part of growth. It's through risk and failure that you learn, adapt, and ultimately succeed. To embrace boldness, you must also embrace discomfort. Bold decisions often come with discomfort, whether it's the discomfort of saying no, setting boundaries, or facing opposition from others. Boldness doesn't seek comfort, it seeks progress. While compliance can often allow you to avoid difficult conversations and situations, boldness pushes you to confront the challenges head on. It's about standing firm in your truth, even when others may not understand or support you. When you embrace discomfort, you develop resilience and strength. You learn that the temporary discomfort of being bold is far outweighed by the long-term satisfaction of living authentically and in alignment with your purpose. Furthermore, embracing boldness requires self-belief. You must trust that you are capable of navigating the challenges that boldness brings. This doesn't mean you'll never face doubts, but it means that you believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It means having faith that you have the strength to overcome adversity and that your decisions are leading you towards something greater. Self-belief is the fuel that propels boldness. When you trust in yourself, you stop waiting for others' validation or approval. You stop asking for permission to live the life you desire. Boldness thrives in the soil of self-belief. And without it, you'll constantly seek permission from others to move forward. Finally, embracing boldness requires standing firm in the face of opposition. Bold decisions will often be met with resistance, especially when they challenge the norm or go against popular opinion. However, boldness is not about pleasing others or keeping the peace at all costs. It's about standing firm in your convictions, even when it's uncomfortable or unpopular. When you choose boldness, you're choosing to prioritize your growth and your vision over external validation. You're not afraid to rock the boat because you understand that true progress often requires shaking things up. Boldness, at its core, is about living authentically and with purpose. It's about making decisions that reflect your values and desires, even when the world around you pressures you to conform. By choosing boldness over compliance, you empower yourself to live a life of freedom, fulfillment, and growth. It's about having the courage to walk your own path, regardless of the obstacles that may arise. The power of no is often underestimated in a world that constantly urges us to say yes to every request, every opportunity, and every demand. Saying no can feel uncomfortable, especially in environments that place value on being accommodating, helpful, and agreeable. However, mastering the art of saying no is one of the most empowering and necessary tools you can develop for protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being. At its core, saying no is an act of self-preservation. Each time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, goals, or capacity, you are indirectly saying no to something that truly matters to you. Your time is one of the most finite resources you have, and once it is spent, it cannot be reclaimed. Saying no allows you to reserve your time and energy for things that are aligned with your purpose, passions, and long-term vision. It is a boundary-setting mechanism that prioritizes your well-being over the pressure to please others. Saying no is also a crucial part of protecting your mental and emotional health. Overcommitting yourself can lead to burnout, stress, and resentment. When you constantly say yes to others' requests, you stretch yourself thin and become less effective, less present, and ultimately less able to contribute meaningfully. In many cases, saying yes to everyone else means saying no to yourself, your needs, your goals, and your peace of mind. Recognizing this dynamic is essential for understanding that saying no isn't selfish. It's a way of preserving your energy so you can show up fully for the things that truly matter to you. A powerful no also reflects clarity and confidence. It is a signal that you are clear about your priorities and that you trust yourself to make decisions that honor those priorities. When you say no, you communicate to others that you are not willing to be swayed by guilt or obligation. It shows that you value your time and boundaries enough to protect them, and it sets an example for others to respect your limits as well. People who are afraid to say no often find themselves overwhelmed by external expectations because they fear disapproval or rejection. However, those who embrace no as a tool of empowerment show that they have the confidence to make decisions based on their values rather than the desire to please others. Another significant benefit of saying no is the space it creates for what truly matters. When you say no to requests or opportunities that don't serve your greater purpose, you open up space for the things that align with your goals, passions, and vision. It's easy to get caught up in saying yes to everything that comes your way, but each time you do, you're filling your life with tasks, responsibilities, and obligations that might not contribute to your growth or happiness. By learning to say no, you create a filter through which only the most meaningful opportunities can pass. This focused approach enables you to direct your energy towards what truly brings value to your life. The power of no also extends to relationships. It is easy to fall into the trap of people-pleasing, especially in personal or professional relationships. However, saying no when necessary helps build respect and authenticity in those relationships. It establishes that your needs, opinions, and time matter and that you are not willing to compromise those for the sake of maintaining a facade of agreement or likability. Saying no is not about rejecting others, but about creating healthy dynamics where mutual respect is at the forefront. It encourages open communication and teaches others to respect your boundaries just as you respect theirs. Moreover, learning to say no builds resilience. The more you practice setting boundaries and saying no with confidence, the easier it becomes. In the beginning, it might feel awkward or even guilt-inducing, but with time, you will begin to realize that saying no is an essential skill that frees you from the overwhelm of overcommitment. It allows you to navigate life's demands with clarity and intentionality, reducing stress and enhancing your overall sense of control. Whoa. Oh. Ultimately, the power of no lies in its ability to preserve your energy, protect your mental and emotional health, and keep you aligned with your true priorities. It empowers you to live intentionally, ensuring that every commitment you make adds value to your life and supports your journey toward personal fulfillment and success. Authenticity over approval is a powerful mindset that calls for prioritizing your true self and values above the need to gain external validation or meet others' expectations. In a world where social media, peer pressure, and societal standards often dictate how we should look, act, or think, choosing authenticity can feel like an act of rebellion. However, living authentically is one of the most liberating and fulfilling ways to live, as it allows you to embrace who you truly are, regardless of whether others approve or understand. At its core, authenticity is about being true to yourself, honoring your values, desires, and beliefs without fear of judgment. It means embracing your individuality, acknowledging your flaws, and owning your strengths. When you live authentically, you are not constantly adjusting who you are based on the expectations or opinions of others. You don't seek to mold yourself into someone you are not just to fit in or gain approval. Instead, you allow yourself to show up in the world as you are, unapologetically and confidently. On the other hand, seeking approval often stems from a place of insecurity and fear of rejection. It is the desire to be liked, accepted, and validated by others, even at the cost of compromising your values or suppressing your true self. When you prioritize approval, you shape your actions, decisions, and even personality based on how others will perceive you. You may alter your behavior, hide parts of your personality, or agree with things you don't truly believe, just to avoid disapproval or criticism. While approval may offer temporary comfort, it comes with the cost of losing connection with your authentic self. One of the key aspects of choosing authenticity over approval is the understanding that external validation is fleeting. No matter how much you try to gain others' approval, there will always be someone who disagrees with you or someone who criticizes your choices. When you live seeking validation from others, you constantly find yourself on a never-ending chase trying to meet impossible standards. It becomes a cycle of striving to be enough for others only to end up feeling empty and disconnected. Authenticity, on the other hand, provides a deeper sense of fulfillment because it is rooted in self-acceptance. When you are authentic, you stop depending on others' opinions to define your worth. You know that your value comes from within, not from external sources. Choosing authenticity over approval also allows for true connections with others. When you show up as your genuine self, you attract people who resonate with who you truly are, not with a version of you that has been tailored to meet external expectations. These are the relationships that are most meaningful, as they are built on mutual respect and understanding. When you are constantly seeking approval, you may find yourself surrounded by people who only appreciate the facade you present rather than your true self. The relationships you form when you prioritize authenticity are deeper and more fulfilling because they are based on honesty and mutual acceptance, not on pretense. Another significant benefit of embracing authenticity over approval is inner peace and confidence. Living authentically allows you to be at peace with your decisions, actions, and choices because they align with your true values and beliefs. When you stop seeking constant approval, you free yourself from the anxiety of wondering what others think of you. You can confidently pursue your goals and passions without second-guessing yourself or seeking permission. Authenticity allows you to be at ease with your imperfections and to embrace your unique journey, knowing that you are living in alignment with your purpose. Living authentically also requires the courage to stand firm in the face of criticism. People who prioritize approval often fear judgment and rejection. They may avoid conflict or suppress their opinions to maintain harmony. However, authenticity requires you to stand up for what you believe in, even when others disagree. This doesn't mean being confrontational or dismissive of others' perspectives, but it does mean having the courage to express yourself truthfully, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about being willing to lose approval if it means staying true to your convictions. Choosing authenticity over approval is a transformative decision that requires self-awareness and self-trust. It's about cultivating a deep connection with yourself and embracing your worth, independent of others' opinions. When you live authentically, you are free to pursue your dreams, make bold decisions, and create a life that aligns with your true desires. While approval may be fleeting, authenticity provides lasting fulfillment and a sense of peace that cannot be shaken by external forces. Letting go of the fear of conflict is one of the most liberating and empowering decisions you can make in both your personal and professional life. For many people, conflict is something to avoid at all cost. The mere thought of disagreement or tension can trigger anxiety, discomfort, and the instinct to retreat or comply just to maintain peace. deal. However, avoiding conflict often results in the suppression of your true thoughts, feelings, and needs, which can ultimately lead to resentment, frustration, and a lack of authentic connection with others. Letting go of this fear doesn't mean seeking conflict or becoming combative, but rather embracing it as a natural and necessary part of growth, communication, and healthy relationships. One of the first steps in letting go of the fear of conflict is recognizing that conflict is a natural part of life. Disagreements are not only inevitable, but also an essential aspect of human interaction. Every relationship, whether personal or professional, will encounter moments of tension. Conflict arises when two or more individuals have differing opinions, needs, or perspectives. And these differences are part of what makes us unique. In fact, conflict often signals that there is room for growth, deeper understanding, and a resolution that strengthens the relationship. By acknowledging that conflict is normal and not something to fear, you can begin to shift your perspective and approach it with a more open and constructive mindset. At the core of the fear of conflict is the fear of rejection or criticism. Many people fear that expressing a differing opinion or standing up for their needs will result in others rejecting them, or worse, condemning them. This fear can be paralyzing, leading to passive behavior, avoidance, or agreeing to things that don't align with your values or boundaries. However, the reality is that conflict, when handled constructively, does not have to lead to rejection. In fact, it can strengthen relationships by encouraging honesty, understanding, and mutual respect. People who fear conflict often underestimate the power of healthy communication, and they fail to realize that being clear and assertive can actually foster deeper trust and respect in relationships. Communication is key when it comes to managing conflict effectively. A fear of conflict often stems from a lack of confidence in how to handle it, leading individuals to either shut down or become overly defensive. Learning how to communicate assertively, expressing your feelings and needs in a clear, calm, and respectful manner can significantly reduce the fear associated with conflict. When you communicate from a place of respect and openness, you invite others to do the same. Constructive conflict involves listening as much as speaking, seeking to understand the other person's perspective while expressing your own. With practice, you will become more comfortable navigating difficult conversations, knowing that you are capable of handling them with poise and clarity. Letting go of the fear of conflict also requires embracing discomfort. Conflict often brings discomfort because it challenges the status quo, requires vulnerability, and can bring up emotions that we may prefer to avoid. However, discomfort is an essential part of personal growth. When you avoid conflict, you miss opportunities to address issues that are important to you. You may also unintentionally enable unhealthy patterns in your relationships by letting unresolved tensions build up over time. The longer you avoid addressing conflict, the more it festers beneath the surface, often leading to greater misunderstandings and dissatisfaction in the future. By allowing yourself to lean into the discomfort of conflict, you open the door to resolution, healing, and stronger, more authentic connections. Another important aspect of letting go of the fear of conflict is reframing your perspective on disagreement. Conflict does not have to mean that the relationship is in jeopardy or that there is something inherently wrong. Instead, it can be seen as a healthy and necessary expression of differing viewpoints. When you stop viewing conflict as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity for collaboration and problem solving, you shift your mindset. This shift enables you to approach disagreements with curiosity, openness, and a willingness to find common ground. Conflict can lead to creative solutions and deeper understanding if both parties are committed to resolution rather than being right. Finally, letting go of the fear of conflict involves building emotional resilience. The fear of conflict often arises from the potential emotional fallout, feeling hurt, rejected, or misunderstood. By building emotional resilience, you can navigate these situations with greater ease. Resilience allows you to maintain your sense of self-worth and integrity, regardless of how the other person responds. It means that you are able to engage in conflict without fearing that it will completely disrupt your emotional balance. Emotional resilience comes from a deep belief in your ability to handle challenges and a recognition that you are capable of recovering from difficult conversations or disagreements. In conclusion, embracing authenticity, setting healthy boundaries, and letting go of the fear of conflict are all essential steps toward living a life that is true to who you are. By choosing authenticity over seeking approval, you break free from the pressure of external expectations and build a life rooted in self-respect and confidence. Setting healthy boundaries empowers you to protect your energy and prioritize what truly matters, ensuring that you maintain your well-being and stay aligned with your values. And by releasing the fear of conflict, you open the door to more honest, meaningful connections with others, knowing that disagreements can lead to growth and deeper understanding as we move into 2025. Remember that true empowerment lies in embracing these principles, choosing boldness, honesty, and self-respect over the comfort of compliance and the need for constant approval. This is the path to greater freedom, fulfillment, and lasting success.